Well, say our names and we appear. It is a new episode of Unpopular Review for Great American Bash Night 1 with myself, one of the normal co-hosts for NXT review shows, Sabrina Stella, Wrestling Doll, unofficial camerawoman, one of many names. The Great Grand Slam Puba could not be here tonight, so we have one of the founders, co-heads, tribal chiefs, head of the tables of Unpopular Review, that is the executive consultant.
I do that a lot. I mute myself. Yo, what's going on? NXT Great American Bash. Let's talk about it.
Yes, let's. All I can say is night 1 was a very, very good start of it. And all I can say is I wonder how they're going to be able to match up or top it for night 2 next week.
That shouldn't be too hard.
And why is that?
This wasn't exactly the greatest card ever, you know?
Well, it might not have been the best card that we were getting, but we got some good matches here and there from that. So, we can't argue.
I don't deny that. I just don't think it'll be hard to top.
Well, when you got people watching and going, oh, where's Julia? Where's Stephanie? It's like, y'all, Julia's not coming till August at most. And we're going to see if Stephanie's either put in NXT or goes up to the main roster like Jade did. Y'all just got to wait.
We'll see.
Yes, we'll see. And speaking of things to see, we have my co-host who wanted to remind everybody that JC Jane won tonight. And if there was no JC Jane love here, then he would have been very upset, at least from me, because he knows I like it.
JC Jane didn't technically win.
No, we know she didn't technically win. As George said to him, that Fallon won it for the team, which she did.
Correct. Granted, she was on a winning team. I'll give you that, but he makes it seem like JC Jane was the one that picked up the victory. And she wasn't.
Well, when you have somebody that loves JC Jane as much as Ron does on your side of the screen, then you're going to hear about it. So what can we do?
That's right. SummerSlam in Nashville, Tennessee. I was there for it. I was quite happy to see Bayley return. I marked out. I was quite happy to see Io Sky. I marked out. And then I saw Dakota Kai and it ruined everything.
Yeah, we know you don't care for her. Anyways.
Not a fan.
We know you're not. We started out Great American Bash with Hank and Tank dressing like burglars trying to break into the Performance Center because they want to be the guest host for the Great American Bash, and they kind of overact their way to get in, which it can be funny for some people and it can be stupid for some people, and it can be a mix of both for other people. I just found it a little perfect for their character, is all I'm going to say. And that's
one of the best moments of NXT tonight. I found them hilarious. They were, every scene they were in, they stole.
Well, maybe this will give them the push to say, yes, we'll make y'all the guest host for next week as well.
And I will be gladly tuning into it that they're the host of next week. They were so entertaining. I don't even know who they are. I don't even know their names. But it was so entertaining.
Well, that was Hank. I think his last name is Ledger or something along those lines, but he started out as a security that got put into wrestling on Level Up and then debuted on the main roster, and everybody just fell in love with him over time. And Tank was just another trainee over there that they decided to get together because their names sound the same.
Keep them together. If they go along this angle, they are destined to have some good gold in their future.
And speaking of those that are destined to have gold in their future, or in this case, still have their gold, we had the women's tag team match starting things off with the Unholy Union in Abaddon and Isla Fire versus the Metaphor's own Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson, which I think it was a good showing for a first defense match for the Unholy Union, and it was a good showing for Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, showing what they can do as a team, because the last time we saw them work together on a pay-per-view was a pre-show where they lost against a team where half of them are gone and the other and one half of the half that's still there is up in the main roster, and the other half is one half of the tag team champions. I didn't mind this match. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good showing for all of them, and I was happy to see that they retained.
So I look at this on two different angles. Because they already knew they were going to win. I mean, it's fine. But the WWE Tag Team Champions have not had a title defense since they won the championship almost 2 months ago, right? Why? Because they don't deserve the titles. They won it because they felt sorry for Alba Fire losing her mom. That's fine. I respect that. I understand. I've been there, right? I get you, right? But they weren't supposed to hold the titles that long. But all the internet trolls were all on Triple H saying, hey, we know why you gave the title. And he wanted to save face by saying, no, I didn't, and then prove it. But then as he made him disappear for 2 months, because that's what happened, right? Barely saw him for 2 months. He said, oh, shoot, we need to continue this angle. We gave him 2 weeks. Gave him 2 months to make it seem like it was legitimate, but they have not defeated a tag team yet. Let's make a makeshift tag team that's going to be believable for them to beat. And that's what Jakara, Jackson, and Lash Legend, who also happen to be African-American like the ones that are going to take the titles from them on Friday. But let's have this tag team go after the tag team champions so they can get the victory and can make their title reign look legitimate. It reminds you, correct me if I'm wrong, Wrestling Doll, right? Because I had this argument with you earlier this year, because you're a hater. I said that Casey Carter and Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro were not going to hold those tag team titles long. They were just holding it as transitional championships to none other than Damage Control. Boom! Just like I said. Just like DIY. Transitional.
Did I ever say that DIY was going to hold the championships for a very long time?
I'm not saying. I said
that they were possible transitional champions, and they will be with what we're going to get Friday and or SummerSlam.
I'm referring to you and the Party Girls as that's the one you didn't want to listen to. DIY, you never said it. I'm just putting it out there. DIY was always transitional. You're going to have 2 new tag team champions on Friday.
Well, we're going to see all that on Friday. And just like we got to see after the match, Ethan Page comes out and mocks them for losing, for coming up on the short end. And he tries to get in the ring and be all slick, but Oro gets in the ring and pins him for the 1, 2, 3, and the girls count it, making him mad yet again in preparation for their contract signing they're going to have for their title match next week. What's the no for? Is the no for just the segment happening, or?
I'll tell you what the no is for. And you know what? I know that she's doing her own NXT show, but I wish Cap was here because I will tell you like it is. Every time I see Ethan Page, this is what I do, right? Because he's not a good champion.
Why? Because he's a chicken shit champion that doesn't rely on other people to help him?
Are you a fan of Damian Priest?
Not this current version of him. I was a fan of him when he was the U.S. champion, when he had a decent reign until it got boring.
But you also are aware that his world title reign now is terrible.
I don't like his title reign right now. No, I can admit that.
So we agree. All right, fine. Ethan Page is just not a good champion. He's boring. He's bland. Yes, I can see he's egotistical, hence the name. He's solid in the ring, but he's not entertaining, right? And his feud with Oro is only entertaining because of Oro, but I still don't see Oro as a main event player. I'm sorry. He's not there yet, right? Once again, 2 great talents. I'm not taking away from his skill. But what people need to understand, and that's the problem with this day and age in wrestling and wrestling fans, is not everybody needs to be a world champion. That's not how it's built. You can't have all ego sign the company just because you say, oh, this is a great talent. Let's give him a championship. No, because now your title is taking a step down, right? It's the same problem I had with Damian Priest. Damian Priest is not a good champion. So every time I see every time I see Ethan, what's his name?
And who, Oro?
No. The NXT champion. Ethan Page. Every time I see Ethan Page, I see her. That's what happens.
You mean Roxanne?
It's not Roxanne. That is Wendy Chu, who's always asleep.
Well, she's not asleep now. Now she's being the sleep paralysis demon that's haunting everybody right now.
Yeah, so I feel like that every time I see Ethan Page with that championship.
Anyways, after that, we get Cedric Alexander conversating with some of the recruits over there, with Sean Spears coming up, mocking that he has no wisdom to give, especially after losing a trick, calling him a lost cause, with Cedric barking back saying he doesn't have a weak mind that can be corrupted. And comes in Brooks Jensen, and then they've set them up for a match tonight. And then we get Hank Walker playing interviewer with Tavion Heights, talking about his match with Tony D, runs down his accolades in amateur wrestling, throws it back to Tank Ledger, dressed in all red, and he's interviewing Tony D, and he says he doesn't do what he does every 4 years. He does it every day.
Thank God for those two people, Hank and Tank, or whatever the hell their name, because they really saved this segment. Why is the NXT Heritage Cup still a thing?
I don't know. You would have to ask the creative why they still have the NXT
they need to scrap it
over in America, even though
they need to scrap it. It's a terrible. It was fine for a while when Noam Dar had it because it was part of what they were doing, but it's not a real championship. It should be utilized as a real championship. It's kind of like Ring of Honor Pure Championship. The way I look at it, it's like it's a waste of my time. But thank God for Hank and Tank. They saved the segment, and I'm a fan of Tony D'Angelo, but this wasn't it.
I mean, that's fair. That's understandable. Then Pete Dunne cut a promo real quickly, saying how he's been wrestling for 18 years, seen it all. He can that the guys in the locker room can't handle setbacks. He's mad that he had to play third fiddle to Sheamus and to Rich Holland, which, frankly, I think it was the other way around. Rich was playing third fiddle to them.
100%.
And then he calls himself YBX, young and bitter. And then he takes a shot being put with the name Butch as opposed to his own, which
was not a bad name.
I didn't like it for him, but it was part of the thing at the time. But it's whatever. So we had the match with Tavion Heights of the No Quarter Catch crew and Tony D for the Heritage Cup. Which
hold on, real quick about the Pete Dunne thing. Let me say this is a segment I felt fell flat. It was a good segment, but the reason why I think it fell flat because he explained some stuff that in bitterness that he had that really should have been on Monday Night Raw. Because on Monday Night Raw they act like he's attacking people and nobody understands why. But he pretty much just explained everything he had a problem with, but it was on NXT. Okay, but he's a Monday Night Raw guy, and so I mean, his feud primarily is on Monday Night Raw. I know he has a match next week against Trick Williams, and I appreciate that. I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. But his primary feud is on Monday Night Raw. He is a Raw superstar. His explanation of attacking Sheamus, who is arguably a low-key GOAT, needs to be mentioned on Monday Night Raw.
Well, they just had it happen there. I didn't get why either, but it is what it is. The Heritage Cup match was fine. I never really care for it when they do the Heritage Cup match, to be honest. I kind of feel like it's a title that kind of gets a little lost in translation for people that don't watch NXT UK. Like myself, I still haven't watched any NXT UK yet. I can admit that. So I'm still a little confused as far as like, even with the rules and the little breaks thing, I think it can be a little confusing for people that watch it because we're just used to watching that happen nonstop unless we have to ring the bell for a disqualification or somebody gets hurt. So it's a little like
we don't need that many titles. And that's where both of these companies are failing to understand. You need a world title, a mid-card title, tag team title, and a women's title. And a women's tag team title, I think, is enough right now because I'll mention later, once again, NXT is just growing with as many women as they have. But you don't need 2 or 3 mid-card. You hear me, AEW, or 4. You don't need that many mid-card titles. What you need to do is trim your roster because there's no difference in footing between the NXT Heritage Cup and the NXT North American Championship. Realistically, there's not. What makes one bigger than the other? You're never going to call the NXT Heritage Cup the tertiary title. In AEW, I don't know what the secondary title is. Is it the TNT Championship? I don't know. Is it the International Championship? I don't know. Is it a Continental Championship? I don't know. What's more important? And what determines why I'm going to go after this title as opposed to this title? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yes, you are. Believe me, I understand. I don't even know what their secondary title is because they have too many titles. I think those all might be secondary titles. We just don't know which one's more important. Which even then, I feel like it's a little too much.
The only other title I ever see as make sense to me is a television championship. If you are actually going to use that, like the Speed Championship, if you're going to use that and have it defended at every show, that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? If the TNT Championship was defended, and they were doing it for a while. If the TNT Championship is defended every single TNT episode, I was like, okay, bet. Makes sense to me. There's a reason that championship exists. But Continental Championship and International Championship, or now is what, the American Championship? What's the difference?
That one looks like it was made at a department store for a 4th of July sale where 80% off everything. That's what it looked like to me.
I don't think Continental title looks that bad.
No, never mind. Anyways, we had Cedric Alexander and Brooks Jensen going in with his newly transformed self, so to speak, going after Cedric.
Did you hear Cedric Alexander had new entrance music?
We hardly heard much of his intro music because it didn't last for too long, but from what I did hear, it was fine.
You didn't hear it at all because it was during picture-in-picture. They didn't get Cedric Alexander his time of day to get an entrance. He got a jobber entrance.
It's funny to hear that jobber entrance.
Enhancement talent.
Yet he won. Make that make sense.
Correct. Which they've been doing a lot lately so they can kind of keep the suspense. And he actually needed a win. I think that was the first time you saw him win a one-on-one match since maybe 2020. Maybe. Might have been 19.
Well, I don't know. The last time I remember Cedric Alexander on TV was pandemic era, him and Ricochet, when Ricochet had that Eddie Guerrero spot. That's what I remember.
They've been on since then. Don't do that.
I know that he's been on since then. It's just that I hadn't seen much of him too much after. Especially when they kind of disintegrated the Hurt Business. He got put with the Shanta the Adonis, and they didn't show them much on SmackDown. And now they're down here in the NXT roster.
They gave them one. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it's not bad for them because now they'll get a little bit more of a showing and showing what they can do. Because like I said before, with the Shanta the Adonis when he was in Hit Row, you didn't really see too much of him in the ring. And if he did, he was like helping Swerve, making sure that he won and stuff like that.
He's actually talented, but you know what? They gave them one segment on SmackDown after they got drafted when he was trying on different outfits. And I felt like Sante was giving him bad advice because some of Cedric's outfits I thought were actually better than the outfit he ended up with. It was terrible. But there's something about these two who are great athletes, great talent. There's something about these two that they've not found a way to hit yet as far as being on the main roster and probably with the people backstage. They haven't found their groove. I mean, you saw that, not Bianca. What's her name? That used to be a part of Hit Row.
B-Fab. Dropped
him like a bad habit to go with the Street Profits. Really was about Bobby Lashley.
And even then, the Street Profits are hardly getting much.
Can't always be on top.
Not a lot anymore.
It's not their time right now. Don't be surprised if the next draft they get drafted to Raw, along with Bianca Belair.
Well, we shall see, but in the end of it all with this match, Cedric did pick up the W, and after when it happened, Spears looks at Jensen. Jensen loses it because he's wanting to make an impact. Now he's making one, being under the tutelage, being an easy, impressionable mind to Shawn Spears to mold and to change up and to see the truth in who he is. We'll just see how much more it goes from there.
I've seen of Shawn Spears in quite some time. He did a phenomenal job playing that role he's playing right now. I am very impressed.
Well, I mean, that's what he basically does best, playing devil's advocate. But after that, we get a quick little moment with Joe Hendry in the back, talking with some of the girls back there for his concert. He walks off. They say that they believe. Ashanti walks in to walk off with them. Then we get a little
do you believe
moment with the Rascals in there. They're explaining like how they can do this on Tuesday because it's magical and all that. And they discuss how MSK never lost the titles and how Wentz pinned one of the champions last week, Axiom. And then Wesley says he's going to text Nathan and Axiom for a tag match, and that they'll partake in a green herb in the meantime, which most of us or all of us know exactly what green herb they're talking about.
I didn't know. I can't wait for them to go away and never come back.
I know you can't wait because you don't like MSK. You don't like the Rascals. You don't like anything to do with them because you think they're boring, even though everybody in that room loves the pops for Wesley. I don't care what you say.
Terrible champion. Don't like what he stands for.
At least he was a defending champion. He wasn't a wuss who kept running away.
He's not defending anything anymore. Right? I've never been a fan. Ever.
We know you've never been a fan of Wesley. We know you've never been a fan of MSK. We know you've never been a fan of the Rascals. We get it.
Can't stand them. Why are they on my TV? Next week will be the first time I'm cheering for Nathan Frazier and Axiom because I've cheered against them every single time because they have no business being tag team champions. But I'm afraid they're going to lose next week, and that crap's going to piss me off.
Well, and that's what we'll see in night 2. But we have something that made you happy. We got to see the lovely concert of the one and only, say his name and he appears, Mr. Joe Hendry.
How does that make Chris happy?
Because you like Joe Hendry.
You know what? I am a fan of Joe Hendry, but this segment fell flat.
I can understand it falling flat. I can understand it. But I'm just saying, because you like Joe Hendry. It was a funny song. But I think the song was funny. However, I think the songs are funnier when doing it in an Impact/TNA audience because they understand that better.
This one was missed for me. And this is once again the problem I have with you NXT fans, right? That's why I don't go with y'all anymore. Y'all put and accept everything, and the shit's terrible. You need to stop. That song was not good. Okay? Y'all try to make it sound like it was good. Y'all couldn't even sing it. When he wanted y'all to sing it, y'all couldn't. Y'all just said, okay, we're just going to wave our hands in the air because the song wasn't good. And I've been to a Joe Hendry where he's playing his songs or music and stuff like that. They were funny. I agree with Stella here. In the TNA setting, I don't know if it just doesn't work in WWE setting, the NXT setting, I don't know. But you fans need to stop trying to put everything over just because you want to be homegrown and want to be cool. Stop doing the shit. It's pissing me the freak off, bro. Stop doing it. That's the reason why a lot of people in NXT fail on the main roster because y'all baby them. Y'all need to tell people they suck. Joe Hendry's segment was terrible. Gallus coming out just beating his ass and stuff like that. It wasn't good. It wasn't a good segment. It was horrible. You wasted my time. There was no reason to make him like the poster child of this Great American Bash. It sucked.
Well, I mean,
it was terrible.
Like the Rascals.
It was awful. It was bad.
That puts me to sleep.
Could have been worse, but it was worse.
We had something that
I hated it.
About to say we had something that make you feel better. We had Hank and Tate coming up to Roxanne.
Great.
To give her some props.
It was a great segment.
But then they make her mad by trying to break a Guinness World Record by pasting as much Post-its on their face as they can in 60 seconds to get
I was hoping they were going to break it.
You and me both. But Roxanne tells them to buzz off since she has a title match to prepare for. Meanwhile, Jada Parker then struts by to mouth off that Perez won't have that title after tonight. Which I'm just like, girl, you're not ready for a title shot, not yet.
Not at all. Not against the Prodigy.
Against who then, if she were to go after the title?
Who's the TNA World Champion?
Jordan Grace.
No one.
Well, we finally get the contract signing. It wasn't a quiet contract signing because Ora Mensah and Ethan Page were arguing in Ava's office, making her head nearly explode from the stupidity that she was surrounded by. If it's not them arguing, it's Stevie Turner and Robert Stone arguing her head off. But it was fine. It did what it needed to do. It advanced the storyline a little bit more. The match will be good. We'll get to see a little bit more of Ora and his skills in the ring because he has been putting out and has actually been winning a little bit more as opposed to being the Metaphor's resident punching bag, which always gets on my nerves.
I thought it was a good segment because it was pre-taped and produced. And I think that helped both individuals.
Fair enough. So then we got a quick little match put in. We got Jada Parker versus Kendall Gray with Carly Bright in her corner. And match was fine. It was just like a quick little, well, not super quick, but like maybe a few minutes of a decent match somewhat. And it was basically just to advance the storyline with Carly and Ren Sinclair as her and Miles Bourne come in to confront Carly Bright since Kendall's busy in the ring fighting since last week. Kendall Gray did attack Miles Bourne while Ren had her match with Carly.
So, who's Jada Parker wrestling?
Kendall Gray.
You give her a gimmick, she could be a star.
They're working on that. We just don't know what it is yet. At least Carly has one. The other guys
don't have. She will. From what I saw tonight, she was solid in the ring. She has a bright future. She needs a personality. She needs a gimmick to get her that confidence to exude that personality. Jada Parker actually has a personality, Grand Theft Auto, but I see it out of her. But her wrestling skills are not where they should be yet, and her finishing move is crap. Like, what the hell was that?
Well, I'm not the one that put together her finisher or
Garbage.
Told her that was what it should be, but
garbage.
It is what it is.
Garbage.
Then we had Rich Holland hyping up Thea Hale, telling her to do whatever it takes to beat Roxanne and bring the title up tonight. Then we had Axiom talking with Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro.
Yeah, because they're doing such great things on Monday Night Raw, so...
I'm not the one bringing them down there. Nathan Frazier is walking over because he's upset because Axiom has a match with Joaquin Wilde on WWE Speed in their tournament that they're having. Because Nathan Frazier couldn't handle the fact that because he told Axiom, you said it was too distracting for when I did it, but now you're doing it. But he's like, no, you were right. We were still able to keep championships, even though you went off to do your thing and be in the Speed match. So why can't I?
There was no hate. Did you hear hate? Did you hear hate? I didn't hear you say hate. I didn't hear hate. Did you hear hate?
I heard you say your opinion of Jada Parker.
Exactly.
I'm in the middle of that, because if I do, I will never hear the end of it if I take a side.
You can take a side, because it's only one side. It's mine.
I'm not taking anybody's side. But Stevie Turner and Robert Stone playing a tug of war with the contract for the Rascals next week, and Axiom isn't paying attention, and Nathan is mad since he had agreed to a tag match since he was pinned last week. But we're gonna get that match. It's gonna happen, and it's going to be an epic match.
I liked Axiom in this segment. Let me say something. It was a lot of segments, don't you think, in this show? Or is it always like that with NXT?
They have a decent amount of segments on NXT.
Yeah, they're quick, so you might not notice them. You know what I'm saying? Blinking, you'll miss it. But they had a lot of segments, and I see why, because they have a lot of talent in NXT. We talk about Raw and SmackDown and AEW, because I'm a firm believer AEW needs to split the brands, split the brand. But they have a lot of talent in NXT, and they want to showcase. And once again, we're in a day and age where people want to see everybody on almost every show, and it can't happen. It was so many segments backstage. But anyway, I thought Axiom did a fantastic job. It was the most time I've ever been interested in him. I liked how he was talking to Nathan. I thought the segment worked very well. I was very impressed. I'm happy.
Well, that's good to hear. So now we had the 6-woman tag match with Jasmine Nix, Fallon Henley, and JC Jane, the team of the Rookie Haters, versus Lola Vice, Carmen Petrovic, and Soruka, the top 3 baby faces of NXT right now, which was great. It was a good showing for all 6 of them. And
I want you to play a commercial. And when we come back, I have 6 questions to ask you. Because I'm very curious of your opinion when it comes to these 6 questions.
Will do.
It might be more, actually.
We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome to the SmackDown Penitentiary.
I look like Zordon right now. You do like Zordon right now. Hold on. Elektra Lopez last night?
Oh wow.
Oh,
She is a
my
baddie.
Lord.
She is a baddie, bro. What?
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, Dios mío.
Elektra Lopez. My mami. ¿Cómo está, mami? Lord. Listen, me and Mike was playing.
Es una mujer que está buena alimentada. You know what that means? That means that she's got all of her nutrients. You know what I'm saying? That she's eating well. You feel me?
Listen, that rice and eggs was treating her well. Those struggle meals treated her well. You hear that, EC? Struggle meals do bodies great.
Facts.
Listen, Tongaloa about his eye and getting raped. He actually has an eye injury.
Oh, yeah. Yo, when I saw that, I had a feeling that I should have gone in the chat because I'm sure that Chris was going in on this guy.
He did not say much, and I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it in the chat.
There we go.
Listen,
there we go.
And I knew something.
Hey,
Rank
Fly, why don't you show up inside the room and talk your shit and get it out the way?
And you can catch the SmackDown Penitentiary every Saturday at noon to discuss all things SmackDown. I will say this, as horrible as it is for anybody to get an eye injury, it was a blessing that Tongaloa got an eye injury because that means he wasn't going to botch or mess up anything in the match so that Jacob Fatu could come in and essentially wreck everybody.
Do you know who this is?
Jakara Jackson.
Harris. She is, without a doubt, the most beautiful woman walking God's greener. I say that, and you ridicule the hell out of the EC. But Dice, week in and week out, brings out whole videos of him doing creep shows with these women, and you just laugh and don't say shit.
Well, I'm not the one that said anything about Jakara. He said worse.
The hypocrisy of your democracy is atrocious to excellence. The hypocrisy of your democracy. I put a picture up of Jakara Jackson and talk about, how we're going on this great honeymoon and how she shouldn't have lost. And oh my God. But you got people like Dice who creates sicko videos that he puts on TikTok of women on SmackDown and freaking Ron who wants to beat up people over JC Jane, and you don't do nothing but laugh. Nothing but laugh.
Well, they make it funny. You're the one that's talking about going on a honeymoon with these people. They don't do that because they know it's not going to go that far. But anyways, we're back on Unpopular Review discussing night 1 of the Great American Bash. Sabrina Stella, the executive consultant, and he said he had 6 questions for me in regards to these 6 women for this match tonight.
What do you think?
Really good show for all 6 of them.
What do you think of Lola Vice?
I like Lola Vice. I just didn't like how much the NXT universe was hyping her up at first because I was just like, y'all can't get mad whenever she loses when she was really hot. I just feel like now she's kind of toning it down a bit because she's a babyface, which I don't think she should because that's what got her so popular in the first place.
She sucks. What do you think of Sol Ruka?
I love Sol Ruka. She's one of my favorites right now. She's one of my favorites. A future star. I think she'll do great in the main roster in like 5-7 years.
She's better than Lola Vice. I do see a future with Sol Ruka. I liked her lotion rubbing scene. That was pretty good. What do you think of Carmen Petrovic?
I like her entrance. I like her gear. She does decently in the ring. Is she a favorite of mine? I won't say that she is, but I can see her improving.
When I saw these 3 entrants, I thought Nickelodeon. But it can't be Nickelodeon because it's more PG-13. But it felt very Nickelodeon to me. And what is up with Lola Vice? Does she know how to do anything else than shake her ass? Like, is she in the wrong profession?
She's giving the people what they want. And that's what the people fell in love with.
It's fine. It's giving people what they want. That's fine. But Jakara Jackson can't say hi to me on the tweet. All right. Fallon Henley.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say something that might make Bad Guy Jack's day. Why the hell was Fallon Henley uno number one or numero uno in this trio?
Your guess is as good as mine, because she's now going on a rampage saying that she's all for herself and that she's not going to worry about nobody else, even though she's now teaming up with JC Jane and Jasmine Nix, which she said that she doesn't like rookies, even though she's working with the rookie in Jasmine Nix. We find a little contradictory here.
Fallon Henley has been in NXT longer than some of these women, right? Some. But realistically speaking, JC Jane's better than both of them. She has more character. She has more charisma. She's just better. I won't say she's better in the ring. On par. But realistically, she should be the leader. So why is Fallon, like, it made sense when you had terrible Lola Rice and Carmen Petrovic, who's just an entrance, with Sol Ruka, I think is pretty good. But Fallon Henley, and I'm not taking anything away from her, she's a talent. She's okay. I can see a future of her, taking some L's. But she shouldn't be the center of attention. It should be JC Jane. I've always thought JC Jane was really good because she has that charisma.
Oh, I've always said I've been a fan of JC Jane since when she was still in Toxic Attraction, because everybody was overlooking her, even though she can talk in the ring, talk on the mic like no other, cut a promo like no other, has charisma, needed some improvement in her ring work, yes.
Jesus, man, Joseph.
But I was just like, why is she on the side if she's basically the leader?
Post some of these comments so I can just start picking them apart.
All right, that's fine.
I kicked someone in the knee for JC Jane. And what do you think about that? Do you think that's appropriate?
We'll say and do anything in regards to JC Jane.
You think that's appropriate?
I never said violence was appropriate.
Do you think it's appropriate that he's doing physical violence to people who say something negative about JC Jane?
No, I don't think it's okay.
And you make sure you scold him when he returns next week. Tread lightly on the Lola slander, EC. There's no slander. Do you know what slander is?
When he referred to Jakara Jackson as a wannabe XXX star?
Wow, the hate from you, right? That's nice.
I didn't
you know
say
what? The hate from your eyes is doubled because of your glasses. Look, there is no Lola slander. Okay? No Lola slander. I said she sucks. She's not good in the ring. That's not slander. That's the truth. Keep going. Yes, that's why she was in the tag team title match. Pay attention. Keep going. Of course, I'm the executive consultant. Thank you. Keep going. You're right. You're right. Keep going. She's not great. She's mid. That's what the kids say. Is that what y'all say nowadays?
Yes, they say mid.
She's mid. She is. I'm sorry. She's not bad. She's not as bad as Lola Vice. Let's go. That will be her job. This is her show. Yes, Sabrina. Thank you. Jakara is a Pornhub extra.
I was just quoting what you said to him as an example of slander. I don't think that. Do not look at me as if I think that. I don't. He said
Jakara Jackson goes in the ring and she wrestles, right? That's what she does. Lola Vice goes in the ring and she shakes her ass like she belongs in Magic City. And for some reason, Jakara is the Pornhub person. I think you're wrong about that. I think you need to pay more attention. Thank you so much. Okay. I did not flip-flop on Liv Morgan. She's improved. I said she's the worst SmackDown Women's Champion in history. I don't take that back. She's still the worst SmackDown Women's Champion in history. I don't know anybody who's had a worse SmackDown Women's title run than she has.
Not even Ronda's second title reign.
Nope, it was still better. Still better than Liv Morgan's. Liv Morgan had a horrible SmackDown Women's Championship reign.
She got a horrible booking. That's just me.
It was still horrible. It was terrible. Liv Morgan now is one of the best things on Raw. She's better than your men's world champion. I tell you that. I'm not taking anything back. I didn't flip flop. She used to be pretty bad. She's improved. She got what she needed to be. She's improved far beyond anything I ever dreamed of with her. But she's definitely done it. Carmella's reign was terrible. Carmella's reign was very good and better than Liv Morgan's reign. Mella is money. People still say that. What did you say about Liv Morgan's SmackDown Women's title reign? Anybody have a phrase? Anybody remember anything? Oh, they remember getting her ass whipped by Ronda Rousey? Sorry. Doesn't compare.
Anyways, after that match.
Hold up. Your person who was with you last Tuesday and Saturday. What's this say? When y'all going to start blaming the challenger story for the champion's reign? I did. Cody Rhodes story. Blamed it. Ruined it. It's great WrestleMania.
Anyways, Kaylani Jordan walked around with the title backstage. Tatum Paxley is
another waste of time.
Is walking up to her asking if she'll play with her. She says no, but asks if she'll play with Doll. She says no, but Tatum's like, well, I want to play with that, pointing to the belt. And she challenges her for that, and she still says no before yelling, what are you looking at, to Wendy Chu behind her, which I think is a bad idea.
Speaking of bad title reigns, what's this woman's name? Kalani Jordan, right?
Yes.
How's her title reign going for you?
It's all right. She's had a couple good title matches. Will I say it's the best? No, but there will be some that will have good title reigns and maybe even better Women's North American Championship title reigns.
It's a waste of time. Why do you think the Great American Bash is 2 weeks now?
Because they're putting a lot of storylines in it, and
because they have too many freaking titles and too much talent. That's why. Makes no sense. Cut it down. There was no reason for an NXT North American Women's Championship. I appreciate what you were trying to do. Cut it out because her title reign is boring. Because they don't know what exactly to do. It was just a consolation for us.
So we had Joe Hendry being interviewed by someone as he's leaving. He says Gallus ruined his concert. Something that he and the fans were excited for. He says that he is out to prove that he belongs there in NXT and that he's going to kick Joe Coffey's butt next week. Maybe he can kick some personality into Joe Coffey because even though he can cut a decent promo, Joe Coffey's still boring. All the Gallus is boring.
Well, it'll be perfect with Joe Hendry because Joe Hendry is not that good in the ring yet.
He's all right.
He's not that good in the ring. And so far, like I said, he's been boring. He's making me not believe in Joe Hendry.
Oh, my. Oh, no. He's walking over to the Steven side.
Hey, my tag team partner makes a lot of sense sometimes.
I do watch the shorts. I enjoy them very much. Anyways, we do have some matches announced for next week. We have Oro Mensah and Ethan Page for the NXT Championship, which may be semi or main event. We have Joe Coffey versus Joe Hendry, Trick Williams versus Pete Dunne, Axiom and Nathan Frazier versus MSK for the NXT tag match. And then we got Kaylani Jordan and Tatum Paxley for the Women's North American title. And we had the main event in Roxanne Perez versus Thea Hale, which in comparison to Thea's last showing at Great American Bash, which resulted in the towel being thrown in because of that got placed on her. This was a very good match and a very good showing for both of them. Vic had mentioned that this was the youngest NXT Women's Championship match in history. And it was a good showing for both of them. They fought a lot. It was very hard-hitting. I've seen some people watching some streams. A couple people compared it to Sasha versus Bayley at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn as far as intensity levels and how hard they were going, which I won't say myself that it's on that level, but I think it's around there, and it was a good main event. Roxanne had retained, beating her with the crossface and the pop rocks repeatedly. Thea Hale tried to put her in a submission, which I enjoyed this match. I don't have anything negative about it. What did you think, executive consultant?
The best match of the year to me is Lola Vice versus Shayna Baszler at whatever Las Vegas Battleground. That was great.
You're lying.
Through my teeth. That was a horrible ass match. But this match was the complete opposite. This was, in my opinion, was the best women's match I've seen all year. And I mean that completely wholeheartedly. I think Thea Hale, who I've been a fan of for quite some time now, has such a bright future. She has the charisma. She has the character, and her wrestling skills have improved each and every single time I've seen her out there. And I think Roxanne Perez is just a phenomenal athlete too. The only thing about Roxanne Perez I hate is her looks. And what I mean by her looks, I mean when she does it too much. It annoys me. All right, stop doing that. Every time the camera's on her, stop. Too much. But these two in the ring, great match. I was on the edge of my seat. I knew Roxanne was going to win the whole time, but there were certain times where Thea actually convinced me, hey, she might pull this off. And when you're able to do that, that's telling great stories in a ring. I'm happy. I'm excited. That's the only thing I have to say about this match. It was a great match. And if somebody said, what is your favorite women's match of the year, 101, it will be this by far.
Some kind words of the main event from the executive consultant, which was a great ending to the Great American Bash, I will say. So, and for those that had seen the article pop up on Twitter, on all reigns of the internet, we thank Thunder Rosa for giving her the contact information of a WWE recruiter that got her into having the tryout and being in WWE after having one or two matches on AEW as Nikita Knight.
Finally, Z is making some sense, right? Finally, it's making some sense. I 100% agree with this, except for I completely forgot Kiana James was called up.
Because they don't use her on TV.
It's not a good thing. I completely
She's on main event from time to time. That's what they're using her for.
Well, that means that you know what? That's not a bad thing. That means that we don't have anything for you, but we don't want you to take L's right now, like that on main TV.
Well, they got to figure out what to do with her at this point. If she gets put in with Sonya and her,
there's no room for her.
Well, that's just an option. If not,
yeah. I see what you're saying, but I don't think they want to do a 4-woman on the main roster anyway. I don't think they want to do a 4-woman faction just yet. Again,
they technically have that in Damage Control with if Asuka's injured.
Yeah, but Asuka's. I'm saying they would have added her if Asuka wasn't coming back. Asuka's not going to do back till unfortunately around the Royal Rumble. So I don't think they're going to go that route, and I don't think Kiana James kind of fits with those three. But I can see why some people might say it. I mean, but I don't think she does. But I think the fact that Kiana was called up and they haven't, I completely forgot. I'm glad you told me she was on main event because I forget main event exists too. So, but I don't want them to get rid of main event. I think main event is actually really important. So,
well, it does.
Just like NXT, what do they call it? NXT Level Up?
Yes.
I think that's a very important show. I don't watch it, but it's a very important show.
Well, both those programs give stars that normally aren't used on TV
this year
a chance to shine.
Fair enough.
That's where we saw some of the people that are now on the NXT roster and some that are up in the main roster and up there on the main event doing the same thing up there. And that is the entirety of NXT's Night 1 of Great American Bash, which was a good showing out. I look forward to seeing what happens next week. And I look forward to discussing it with somebody on here next week. Might be my partner, might be someone else. We shall see.
Should be BadGuy Jack. Should be back next Tuesday.
And speaking of things to look out for, we have Monday night's Mike Knox, the Mike Knox Show, the show for the intelligent wrestling fan at 6. Keep a lookout. On Tuesday nights at 7, you do have the executive consultant and Freckle Sensei talking about Monday Night Review Raw. AEW Dynamite on Wednesday with Dan the Man, Cactus Katie, Venomous Vinny. You got your top 5s on Thursdays / prediction shows, which we'll be doing for SummerSlam. And you have the Friday night SmackDown review on Saturday afternoons at noon with the Z is Silent and Vic. And of course, you had the NX Tuesday product with myself and BadGuy Jack and whoever else may occasionally come to join whenever he is not available.
SummerSlam is this week. Can't wait. I will be in Cleveland for that. Looking forward to that. And I'll, take something.
And it's starting at 4 because they're having a 3-hour pre-show, which is crazy.
Yeah, I won't be there for that. I will probably get to Cleveland Browns Stadium at 6:00 p.m. because I don't do all that extra stuff. And right after that, I'm not staying for no press because I'm going to party. I'm going to start bringing UPR members with me to some of these wrestling events so we can do the press thing. So they can do it and I can go out because I can't stay. It's late. I got to go party. Hey, you know what else is on? TikTok and YouTube and Instagram? UPR Shorts.
We're going to watch a little video here. Jon Moxley. Let's see how good he is at jiu-jitsu. Look at this. Look at this. So give me some 5-star action, Jon Moxley. Let's go. Come on. Looks like Jon Moxley fell asleep.
Failing his feet, so give him some credit.
Wait. Don't worry about that. We're going to get to that in a second. Notice how this other guy's coach is really like, come on. Oh, yeah. Hey, look at this fucking swagger. I can't stand this guy. He's such a bum.
I got him.
Oh, that's what you think. He's humping him now. Look at him. He's hugging him. Disgusting. This is jiu-jitsu. Look, he still didn't put this guy away. Like, he was just hugging up on him because he needed to rest. Break his arm. He just fell on him. Look, see, the ref was like, enough of this bullshit.
He's him on the ground. I mean, come on, bro. You make it seem like he got knocked out like you make it seem like his name is Phil Brooks in UFC.
Look at all the action that's going on.
He's doing the same thing in the other way.
They're just humping. This is
why I have a hard time watching MMA sometimes. Like,
this is exactly what Dom was trying to do to live. There we go. Gone. Bum. Look, he looked lost. Look, he's looking for a weapon. This is the best part. Look at this. Oh, what?
I agree with John.
Dude lost. You bum.
Yeah, no.
You bum. I told you.
I laugh every time I see that. Sorry, go ahead.
You got a compliment from Z down there.
Yeah, a rare compliment from the penitentiary, but it's whatever. Peace was never.
A compliment is better than none at all.
He insulted my wife.
And you insult his from time to time. Anyways, that's our product. Come back next Tuesday.
Also, as you wrap it up, I'll play one more out. But anyway, go ahead and wrap it up. I'm sorry.
Be on the lookout for whenever we put out videos here on this channel, on our sister channel, Unpopular Review Entertainment, whenever we post up shorts on Instagram, on TikTok. Keep a lookout. Share the video, tell friends, subscribe, press the notification bell so you don't miss a single one of our videos. And spread the love and let everybody know about our program, because why not? And let's close off the show with yet another commercial.
Yeah, because, hey, we got to give a shout out to, as she said, Unpopular Review Entertainment. But anyway, good night, everybody.
So if they made a live action comic book version of that, I'll tell you what, does Blade kill vampires in the comics?
Yeah.
What should he kill in the live action movies?
He probably should kill
exactly
vampires.
You want to know why the MCU can't write a Blade movie and they keep having these script revisions? You're telling me the MCU, which is backed by Disney, okay, a Fortune 100 company, can't do what was the studio who made Blade in '98 did? When it was literally about what the comics was about, him killing vampires. So why can't Disney do Star Wars? I'll give you a hint. Why can't Disney make any successful movies after the Phase 1 characters are no longer in the thing? Why did Thor: Love and Thunder fail?
Because it was a bad movie. Just like
no. Why was it a bad movie, Chris? Please expound.
I don't know.
I'll give you another hint. I'll give you another hint. AGENDA. What's that, kids? Agenda. That's right. Agenda. That's why the MCU is terrible, because they're trying to do agenda films, and people want to see Thor be Thor. They want Blade to kill vampires. They don't want Blade to be in a movie and all of a sudden you're talking about human issues in 2024. No, and let him kill some vampires. I mean, how can you not write that script? What's hard about that? Hey, I'm gonna pay you $200,000 to write a script. What do you need it to be about? A black man killing vampires. Got it. It's gonna take me 7 years. Why?